and oh man, by the time I
Look
got
at it
into
now.
it was too late. But I still got some.
You're
And
back on.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Smart.
Dope.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's all right.
it's good to it's good to be skeptical though. But yeah, they said cake technical analysis triangle breakout rally slowly gains speed. So if you haven't, again, the previous article that I was referencing was talking about how DeFi coins have kind of been able to sustain these dips a little bit better than other tokens, especially like gaming tokens or something like that. DeFi is holding out better. And Cake is one of these tokens where Cake dipped to about the $4 range, like in spring, and it's still there. It's still there. You could like bought like then and just been like, and it's like, okay, well,
You just been going sideways this whole time.
yeah, you just been going sideways, and like you don't have to, as a DeFi token, it's a governance token and access to other token earning, so you don't have to just, normally you farm out your cake and then you use the cake that you farm to build up that passive income. But yeah, that's the way to go about that. So I wanted to mention that is just like a more degen topic on the side of DeFi things. Oh, this was a funny one that I saw here, and I'll get both of you guys' opinion on this. Oops, I'm gonna load this window back in after that brief pause, I'll call it. Here we go. And we'll see if you guys know the answer to this. So this says Solana SOL price lags Ethereum despite outpacing it in daily transactions. So I feel like basically what they're saying here is like, yeah, why is it that the Solana price, or like Solana in general, will be like lagging behind Ethereum in the market? So people are more bullish on Ethereum than Solana, even though Solana is outpacing Ethereum in daily transactions. Obviously, if more people are using Solana, then it should be worth more, or it would be going up more.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, my quick one of these is not like the other. One of these is decentralized. One of these is decentralized.
Well, even then, people will still say that that Ethereum is not decentralized, and even more so now because there's technically less nodes as opposed to just individual miners just scattered all over the place. So the problem is, in terms of centralization, is how the SEC, was it? Yeah,
Where they're trying to get that jurisdiction.
Said that all Ethereum falls under the jurisdiction of the United States because most of the nodes are in the United States.
Well,
And-
not even most of the nodes. It was that the most clustered nodes.
Oh my
Right.
god.
And
It was
like-
that a
and
large
when
cluster
I-
was in the. It was like 40% are in the United States in this
This is
cluster,
where we're at
and
with
the other
governance.
60% is around
So
the world.
when I it's funny when I
Oh my
heard that,
God.
I was like, damn, this is what Coinbase was doing, is trying to create a cluster of nodes in the United States, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're working with the SEC and that kind of stuff. But the truth is that if that's what they're gonna say, then like all of cryptos falls under the jurisdiction of the United States, and they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot if they start trying to regulate it.
And like, I'm like, well, technically, I don't know what the case is for Bitcoin now, but like a few years ago, maybe it's still the case. Like Bitcoin would have been regulated by China then. Like they would have just given up all rights to Bitcoin.
Right.
But like, I think that we talked about it a little bit, and I think I left that in the chat. I wasn't sure which one of you guys responded to it. Like somebody like left some fires on it. But I mentioned some stuff about like the Ethereum decentralization and our Trustless Degens chat, which was that like there's like two misconceptions going around with Ethereum. So one, there's the jurisdiction thing. They're talking about batches, but I feel like a big misconception with Ethereum is that you need 32 Ethereum to run a node, and you don't. You don't even need any Ethereum to run an Ethereum node. Actually, a full node.
What?
So actually, a full node of Ethereum costs no Ethereum to run it. And that was new news to me. And it was new news to somebody else, another DeFi big brain that I was speaking to.
How is that a misconception? I remember reading very clearly you need 32 to run it. Like
No,
sure,
you
you
need
can run an
32 to
empty
get
node.
the rewards.
Oh well, yeah. Who wouldn't?
People
Who
run
would run a
Bitcoin.
node
People run Bitcoin nodes without because you're just helping it become more and more decentralized. Because the more the more validators.
It's my money and I want it now.
Yeah, the more validators there are, and so I was using this as a counter thing to the the SEC type thing, because they're like, oh, there's a cluster here. I'm like, if you're gonna play a numbers game and it's clusters and it's really just I need a small bit of technology to run this node because I don't actually have to have 32 Ethereum. Somebody like a billionaire can go out right now, buy a whole bunch of like laptops or whatever the heck, set up a bunch of nodes, and beat the United States in numbers. And Kazakhstan has the jurisdiction that the SEC guaranteed internationally or whatever because of a cluster of I'm like, that's not a smart game to play. That's not the way you want to play it. If you want to make those the specific rules, because I don't think they know that you don't need 32 Ethereum either. I think they're thinking, oh, the United States is wealthy and so we'll control this, and that's just not the case.
I think, and I see him just stepping up. I think Bitfiend had a reasonable response of well, if I'm not getting rewarded, why am I running a node? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, all right, yeah, right. That was you were like, well, if I'm not getting rewarded, why am I running it? Is it more at that point? Is it just kind of like an ethos? Is that just
Charity.
kind of like
there's ethos?
Yeah, thank you.
There's ethos to it, helping secure the network, and then there were some other added benefits, because I got this from the docs, the Ethereum documents. Some extra added benefits like you not needing to go through third parties and other people's validators and stuff like that to actually confirm blockchain transactions and things like that. So
you can confirm your own transaction.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff yourself, and then you don't have to sign all these contracts and all this other stuff if you're just running your own node.
I gave a half of Ethereum to somebody 4 years ago because they said they're going to make some sort of Ethereum staking pool before the merge. This was when it first started docking. Where's my check? Is the question. Where's my? I don't get a check. I got scammed. Is that what happened? Did I just lose my half of Ethereum?
I don't know who this guy was talking to.
No, nobody's saying. So I guess I gotta eat.
I'm I knew about Rocket Pool and Lido. Those are the two.
He
I
sold
knew about.
me. I'm like,
and Beacon
good.
Chain.
Here's my half Ethereum, bro. Here you go. Thanks.
That guy fucking took you, bro.
Yeah. You got.
Can I get a half of Ethereum?
I bet he has over 32 Ethereum right now.
Probably, man. He fucking.
I bet he got 64 fucking schmucks.
How many Erics did he get?
A couple.
Yeah.
Welcome to crypto, bitch.
Well.
Yeah. Okay. Last few topics here. I wanted to cover this one really quickly. This was it's like Eric's
my buddy says just ask everybody for 0.5 easy nodes.
Oh my god.
He got him,
bro.
Got him. All right. I'm not salty. I've lost a lot more.
Let's make an effort together to raise 32 ETH in that same fashion.
As a group, and then we'll make some ERC20 tokens, right, that represent 1/32 of a node, and then we'll sell those for 1.1 Ethereum, and then profit.
That sounds pretty good to me.
You in, Twin? Twin, you in?
Twin.
Just send 1.5 Ethereum.
Twin Gats is in. I know that because he was talking about them front runner bots.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't that right, buddy?
Bots are the new right now in this bear.
Bro.
Listen, man, people running bots since 2008 are living in the Caribbean right now.
When Twin told me, he had told me about this front runner bot, and we were gonna try it, and then we decided against it. Hey, Twin, that was gonna drain your wallet.
Oh my god.
That bot was definitely. I did more research on it. That code that you were pasting was designed to rob you. So,
oh my god.
He said he found that out.
That'd be dangerous.
So listen, Twin needs to be here next week, dude. I think he has a lot to add.
I agree.
Yeah.
Here, this is a fun one. This is a fun one, real quick. On that, will drain your wallet type of thing, and it's related to bots. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. Did you guys see anything about hacks this week? This is a hack related to a bot.
I haven't seen too much, no.
Yeah, so same here. Other than this thing, I didn't see anything about hacks this week, and this was quite an interesting one that came across my desk, which was MEV bot earns $1 million but loses everything to a hacker An hour later.
Yo, a hacker hacked
The
a
story
bot.
of crypto in 2
That's-
seconds.
Oh my god.
What's it like being in crypto? Here, read this article.
Yeah, read this article. So this is a research firm Flashbots showed how
How
Max.
does a hack?
How does it happen? Yeah, let's right here. So this is the prefix of the bot. Was able to earn 800 ether, around 1 million, through arbitrage trades. According to Miller, the bot took advantage of a huge arbitrage opportunity that came when a trader attempted to sell. So this is at somebody's misfortune. $1.8 million in CUSDC. I'm not sure is it. Maybe that's compound USDC through the decentralized exchange DEX Uniswap V2. And only got $500 worth of assets.
What?
So the bot took advantage of somebody else first, and then the bot detected this chance and immediately sprung to action and gained massive profits. However, only an hour later, a hacker exploited a vulnerability in the bot's bad code and tricked it into authorizing a transaction that drained its balance of 1,101. They lost more ether. They lost an extra 200 Ethereum.
Oh my god, dude! What?
Damn.
Which is around
That
1.4 million at the time of writing. That's
Be a
insane,
fly on the wall in that dude's room.
bruh.
Dude,
Yeah.
these hackers, man, they're having so much fun. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
I
lie.
would-
Like that's just
So much fun.
Yeah, somebody.
crazy.
You're just out there watching the Explorer, and you're like, "Ooh, $1 million. Let me go see the vulnerabilities on this account."
Jeez. And
Oh
to like
my
have
god.
the skill to just check it all, like
Yeah.
that's like, incredible.
Yeah, that quickly. Like, oh, okay. Just-
Well, it kind of reminds me of the guy that he like borrowed a Bored Ape that was locked and staked for like loaning or whatever, but that one hadn't claimed the ape coins yet.
mm,
So like he claimed the ape coin. He did it to like multiple Bored Apes. I don't quite remember, but he banked like $1 million
Jesus.
in one transaction because he wrote the transaction, whatever he needed to do. It was all in one. So he borrowed the ape, redeemed all the ape coins, and then paid it all back and did the whole thing all in one transaction and banked like $1 million.
That
That
is
reminds
wild.
me of some like Kobe Bryant fucking real estate agent transactions I've heard of. You know what I mean? Like you
What?
find some guy that says, "Yo, if you find me 10 acres all put together, I'll give you $1 million." And then you find a brother and a sister that like they were each inherited land when their father died, and then you offer them 280,000, you offer the other one 120,000, and then they both agree to sell the 10 acres to you for that much, and then you rake off of the top with the guy who was willing to buy that land for $1 million. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just happens a
I've
lot
seen
quicker and digitally.
I've seen. Oh yeah. I mean, I've heard of even like a programmer in the United States that was getting paid like 6 figures as a developer, and then he outsourced his work to somebody in India for $30,000 a year. So he just sat around fucking banking 70 grand a year,
Work smarter, not
paying
harder.
the
man.
developer 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
I try to tell my
God.
14-year-old every day, I said, listen, there is unbelievable opportunity that you don't even know about. And I just kind of like share with them some of the real estate things. And it's like, you don't need to have a degree to do this.
Right.
You get somebody to agree. You get an investor to agree to buy this house for 120,000, and then you knock on that person's door and say, hey, I'll buy this for 130 right now. And they're like, what? Yeah, just sign here. I'll give you $130,000. So that, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I said that wrong, but like you get people to agree to a
Catch.
price, and then you get another person to agree to the price. And next thing you know, you're making $20,000, and all you did was have 2 people sign a contract. It's like, it happens, dude. And we're trained to get out of that realm of possibility, but it happens. It happens every single day. Every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in Decentraland even, dude. Like, the reality of it is, my buddy, one of my teammates, he was getting paid to do these videos, and he didn't have the time to do it. So I'm just like, I'll do the videos and just pay me, take 10%.
Yeah.
I'll do it, you know, because I had the time. He didn't, but he got the
Yeah.
job, so I'm happy to have let him make some money off of it.
Yep. Well, and Bitfiend, you're in the construction business too. You know how
Oh
that
yeah.
trickles down too.
Oh my God. So it's funny that you say that. I sold a rebar tire for my boss, and the guy that bought it for me wasn't quite wasn't it, like he claims to be a concrete guy, but when I met him, he said that he will form it all up and then hire a concrete company to come and pour it and do all the flat work and all that. And so like when I told my boss that, he laughed because it's like that's not a concrete guy. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he's also doing the hardest part. That he's doing the worst part for the worst amount of money, and then outsourcing the easiest part. Go in and pour it.
Yeah.
So I love those jobs. I get to a job site every now and then, and I'm like, whoa, who did all this? Because like it's like I haven't been here yet. Who did all this forms? And it's like not us. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking great. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the fact is, there's opportunity out there, and it's just, just like I said earlier in the show, is there are projects out right now that you could put $100 into right now that are going to be worth over $100,000 in 4 years. 100%. Right. They're out there right now.
It's even less. It could be even less. Look, and it could even be a scam coin. So I'm not even going to mention it, like the name of it. But I had put $20 into a coin, and it had turned, or no, it was $5, and right now it's at like 800. And I would. This was.
Can you imagine if you believed it and actually like put everything
like,
that you had into it?
I was just YOLOing some shit, and the funny thing is, I was making like at least between $100 and $200 a day from passive shit, like between splitting the land, cake, and all that. So I was like, let me just put like $5 a day into this coin, but I never did. If I had put $5 a day, it took like 2 months. That would have been like 60 days, and then it just skyrocketed. I would have easily had like 300 grand.
I mean,
but the problem, the selfie on that coin, 18%. So it's definitely a shit coin.
Yeah.
But I mean, turning fucking $100 into 300,000 and then losing 18%, yeah, that's fine.
That's where you're like, where did Eric go? You're like, I don't see him on Twitter anymore. I don't see him on Twitch anymore. He hit that $1 million, dude. He's raking in the DeFi, bro. He's making over 50 grand in DeFi a year. He's living on his 20 acres. You don't see him no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you all of a sudden don't hear from me anymore, I'm either dead or I'm off grid. Like, it's either really bad or really good.
I want to stay in the space as long as I can. For me,
sure,
but I'm definitely still gonna be off grid. You know, I'm gonna have multiple spots.
It's definitely always been a means to an end for me.
Oh yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
It's always been a means to an end. But
I've seen the meme like it where it's like I want to just quit my job and sell everything I own and go buy land in the middle of nowhere, and then, just put a little shack in there and live off the land. For the rest of it, just don't even leave. Just live off the land.
As much as I want to do that, I think the ultimate answer is going to be some sort of melding with crypto, because I think I want to like leverage crypto with building something real world in real life that you can come that Bitfiend you can come visit, and Smurth you can come visit, and you can come hang out on my 20 acres whenever you want.
Eric's Cryptopia.
I think it's going to be something a little bit more cringy, like Maslow's, Maslow's corn, something like basically just focusing on like, we all need clean water, we need clean food, we need a safe place to live, we need to bang once in a while, we need to do this, we need to do that. These are all reasonable things as a human being, and we're building tiny homes, we're growing corn, we're building housing, we're growing food. And we're making a safe place for people to be able to trade some of their time for some assets, So
I actually bought a shed thing. It's like a 10 by 10 that I plan on converting into a little tiny home.
Hell yeah! Yeah. I already live like I live in a tiny home. You know what I mean? I'm just
Shit, I'm in a tiny home. I'm in a trailer. I've been camping for the last 4 or 5 years.
That's the way to live, though, dude.
Yep,
It's the way to live. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
that's right.
I do a lot of work for people with houses that are way too big for them, and they spend so much money just keeping up on houses that they don't even live in. You know.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna keep us on track for these last few topics
All
as
right.
we round
Appreciate
things
you,
out. No problem. No problem. So last few ones. I wanted to touch on this DeFi topic really quickly, and this is like kind of like a brief touching for anybody who's interested in the DeFi ecosystem and how some of these tokens and layer 2 tokens or layer 2 blockchains are working out. So this article reads, can Arbitrum organic growth leave layer 2 competitors like Optimism out of the picture? So layer 2 competitors to Arbitrum are Optimism, Polygon, etc. But this is the first one to use like the roll-ups. Actually, that's wrong because I think IMX actually does that too. But of a different type of optimistic roll-ups. These are like that breed, Optimism and Arbitrum. And so when we're looking at this, this is back to that DeFi Llama website where you can see all this information. You can see Arbitrum is nice and ahead of Optimism now by $81 million, and so they actually flipped them. And this is all organic growth, and a lot of this might be due to the fact that there's a supposed airdrop happening soon. So we'll see what happens there. But other than that, yeah, if we were to scroll down this list of other blockchains, these 2 Ethereum blockchains are obviously taking up a lot of the pie of TVL.
Who has time to keep up on all this? You know what I mean? That's where it's like when we talk about trustless Degens, like it really comes down to like creating a community of people that aren't just like blowing smoke up your ass. Of like, listen, man, we all have different interests. We all have different things that we're working on. And look at all these projects. Look at all this money. You know what I mean? Like we have to rely on each other to a certain degree. To really dig into this stuff because there's opportunity, there's things we benefit from, but we can't all. Oh my God, we can't. Like, look, you just showing that is just like how can anyone be an expert of all that?
Yeah, it's too much.
All those communities.
Yeah, too much. Yeah, we can only give you a piece of the pie here, but whatever you're interested in, dig deeper. This next one, quick article change, is on, this was actually listed by Rex Satoshi earlier today. This is about Do Kwon, the founder of Terra Luna, or CEO of Terra Luna. Korean authorities see 67 million in Bitcoin linked to Do Kwon. Interpol has put out like a arrest warrant for Do Kwon, so he's wanted internationally at this point. And this is because, Build Blockchain used this new technology to do so, supposedly mismanaged funds, and now you have a bunch of victims, people that lost a lot of money, or invested a lot of money. There's people that invested at the top, they invested tons of money in your project at the top, and that went to zero, or people that thought that they had a bunch of money with your project and were taking out loans and whatever the heck, and then that money went to zero. So you have a lot of victims from the situation. And I'm bringing this up not just to poke fun at Do Kwon, or even just to mention it as like, oh, look at this bad crypto DeFi situation. I'm bringing this up specifically as a bit of speculation between what happened here and all of these victims, as I'm calling them, and the urgent press from central banks to regulate DeFi. I think there might be some correlation between these two things happening, between this Terra Luna thing, which shook the DeFi space all summer, leading up to now, and now all these central banks, while the fiat currency stuff like that's happening, now all these central banks are like, not only stable coins that we need to focus on, but we need to come together. And like United States said this, Jerome Powell just had some comments about this. That I think the European central bank, the French, all these people are talking about they need to regulate it now. And I think a lot of it has to do with this situation where we have this arrest warrant going out for Do Kwon and them being more aware of this, because they, to some degree, you want to protect, people, but also you need it to be a little bit more of a clean market if you're going to be stepping in these streets. So I think it's maybe connected. I just wanted to bring that up for those purposes. One of our last topics today. This is a Chainlink related, and so this This is a big dog in the crypto space. If you're looking at tokens, maybe you're exercising your legs, getting outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those first probable buys in crypto. Chainlink's not a bad one to go with, in my opinion.
You know, it's funny because I was gonna mention that, like the graph specifically with the TVL, and I was literally gonna say I don't think Chainlink has staking yet.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But they just announced staking plans, so it's just more TVL for Ethereum.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane. So yeah, Chainlink announces staking plans, aiming to be AWS of Web3, and they are pretty much, you know, these I say they're leading the way with their Oracle and everything like that. So staking for Chainlink, and what do we mean for Ethereum, and then the transition to all these other chains and whatever. It's just bullish. It's just bullish. It's just another thing that Chainlink is involved in that's ridiculously bullish, and just makes you feel like Chainlink's not going away.
No, the thing is, so I said this a year ago. I said it when the graph was first came out on December 17th. I said that Ethereum, Chainlink, and the graph are literally the holy trinity of cryptos. Bar none, like there's no question about it, 100%, and all three of them are always going to be needed moving forward because they complement each other so well. Now, I have heard of Chainlink using other blockchains as well, and like they're partnering with other blockchains, which is great because it just adds to interoperability. But Chainlink and the graph are going to be massive, just big hitters in the long run, where like if you don't have Chainlink and the graph but you have Ethereum, then you're kind of sleeping on the whole network because they need each other to function, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and so we know that Ethereum, the internet, I guess, of Web3, Chainlink, the Oracle, feeding the prices in. What would you say that the graph is?
The graph is the Google of crypto. I mean, it's in layman's terms. It is designed to index blockchain data in the same way that Google indexes the web. So how, think about it, like right now, how do you search the blockchain? If you had to find something, whether, smart contract, whatever, you can't, you can, but it's not a very easy thing to do. So with the graph, that's what they're working on, is to
that indexing is a big issue for multiple blockchains. I promise you.
It's a massive issue.
What Google has already figured out, if they could apply that and work on some blockchain technologies, they would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people.
And I would rather just the graph figure it out, in my opinion, because then they can stay decentralized. But it's still, like Eric said, it's a huge issue. I mean, you got to think about how much executed smart contracts happen every single day, where 90% of them are scams, because those scammers, they have to work 10 times harder than everybody else. And so there's a lot of shit out there, and you can't be approving a bad smart contract as a graph validator, or whatever you call them. I can't remember the name, but they'll lose all of it. That the tokens they hold in their pool will get burnt, and anybody that trusted them will lose their coins too. So it's in everyone's best interest that even uses the graph to operate in a good manner and not maliciously. So it's only going to go up from here, and being able to sort through that data, where there's going to be a common ground or a common website that you go to, probably the graph, to search for whatever smart contract, whatever solution you need for your business, branch of government, country, and you'll be able to find what you need and execute it effortlessly because you can trust it. It's going to be trustless, and that's the biggest thing, is when you can literally go and hire a blockchain specialist to come in and put your, or onboard or port your whole business onto the blockchain, and that guy will be able to just pick what he needs from the graph that suits your business, and that's it. So it's only going to get easier.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get there, right?
Well, yeah,
we're gonna get there, but it's like
absolutely.
I think I said it last week, is like it's like the missing link, right? Like it's between evolution and this, it's like the missing link, and then we find the missing link, and then you find a missing link in between the missing link, and you're like, oh well, that doesn't explain this, or that doesn't. So it's like all of us who have been in crypto for so long, we all think we should have been so much further than we are by now. But I really think we got to remember the difference of why we find decentralization so much more important than centralization. Centralization does get shit done quicker, 100%. I don't think any of us would disagree with that. But at what cost? And when you're dealing with decentralization and you got people who are building things without the guarantee of being financially recovered and things like that,
Right.
things do move slower. So
Yeah.
it's really again, at what cost? Like, is the time that we're spending on this really worth it? And that's where people like us, we keep putting that money into decentralized projects and for those reasons, man.
I do it. I mean, just the other day I bought more Splinterlands cards. I don't stop. I don't stop because when I did stop, I regretted it. When every time I leave the space, it's just I get bored. And I remember when the market crashed, like one of the reasons at least why I bought a VR headset was because the market was crashing and I was watching my money go down, and I was happy. I wasn't in the loss. Like, I wasn't at a loss, but I was watching my super gains go down, and it was like stressing me out. So I just bought a VR headset so I couldn't see it. Well, what did that turn into? It turned into me checking out like crypto charts in VR. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I started exploring VR, and then I got bored quickly because blockchain gaming was turning into a thing, and Axie Infinity was blowing up. So I'm like, okay, something's happening. So I gotta get back to it.
Yeah, let me veer back over there. Let me do this a little navigation for one of our last ones today. We have this. Speaking of like things being so new and on the cusp, we have this launch of a book recently. I'm not sure you guys saw anything about this, but this article is not giving the book its fair justice, maybe. But Ethereum tanks 7% on Vitalik Buterin's piece of stake, or proof of stake. Excuse me, piece of stake.
Piece of shit.
Proof of stake book launch day. So Vitalik launched a book for
listen,
proof of stake.
I always thought it was so weird how I start working at a restaurant and they're like, yeah, this is our POS system. And I'm just like, your piece of shit system? What are you talking about? Like, is that what you just call it? No, it's the point of blah blah blah.
Point of service. Or
yeah, thank you. Point of service. No, it sounds like piece of shit. That's who could you imagine being the guy that go to the meeting with $1 million investors and like, listen, we call it the POS system. What?
Yeah.
The what system?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
Seriously,
my god.
man.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I get distracted.
It's a good one. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because I haven't read the book. It's pretty new, but it's maybe it'll be up there with like the Bitcoin Standard type of book or something.
At the end of the day, I love cryptos, and proof of stake is proving that cryptos aren't bad for the environment.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was an interesting thing to share for anybody who's you want to learn more about blockchain. This is probably a great source for that. Again, maybe this becomes like one of the holy grail type of blockchain books, where for Bitcoin maxis there is the Bitcoin Standard. Perhaps for Ethereum maxis there will be this proof of stake book from Vitalik. Yet to be determined, but maybe. So I wanted to bring that up. This last thing. before we get into a airdrop potential for everybody, just to share that as we close out. But this last thing was a quick article that I want to reference, talking about Bitcoin mining difficulty, basically, and the misfortunes of a company, and that is that Compute North has filed for bankruptcy as crypto mining data center owes up to $500 million. So they owe a lot of money. Why do they owe a lot of money? Probably because they paid a lot of money to get some mining rigs or whatever the heck they're using over there to mine this stuff.
When Bitcoin is at 50,000.
Yeah, exactly. When Bitcoin was at a high. The thing about this that I also like to point out though is that they are not closing shop. So the business isn't closing shop. They're still continuing to mine and keep things open. But they are filing for bankruptcy because you get money stuff. You can, get some little less worry here as a business. But yeah, they're gonna keep mining. So to me, that says they're bullish. And the reason for this was stated as being like the mining difficulty. So it's harder for them to mine Bitcoin. And I think I shared this in the Discord somewhere this week. But I was looking it up and I just wanted to confirm. I was like, yeah, okay. So they're going bankrupt because of the mining difficulty of Bitcoin. What does that mean for Bitcoin as a whole in cryptocurrency? It means it's being used more. It means there's more people trying to mine these blocks. Bitcoin mining difficulty goes up as more people use the network. The mining difficulty increases. And so I'm like, oh yeah, it's bad for this individual, but probably bullish for the whole of Bitcoin. And it's decentralization, honestly. If it becomes more and more like difficult for maybe let's say they did go under, it becomes more and more difficult for these big companies to efficiently mine. But kind of like we had that conversation earlier, why would I run a validator if I'm not gonna make any money? Well, you can still earn one on Bitcoin and maybe not make any money. It's like a needle in a haystack if you don't have enough power, and stuff like that. Maybe you do.
I mean, some small miners do hit a block every once in a while.
Exactly. But maybe that's what we're getting toward, is that in a far off future where it's no longer profitable for big companies, and you want to keep the decentralization of the network, and so you run as a miner, and if you do hit that, it's like hitting the dang lottery, and it's that much cheaper because of whatever reasons, and
people play the lottery every freaking day, man. So yeah, decentralization in that regard, to where it's like, it's like winning the lottery. You can still run it, but yeah, I mean that's enticing. That's enticing.
Yeah. So I just thought that was just trying to take what is otherwise somewhat of a negative article for this company in a positive light. Even if that future never happens where it's that much cheaper and this and that, it's still the case that the mining difficulty increases with more usage of the network. And so that just means that there's a lot of people using Bitcoin and mining Bitcoin right now for that to happen with these companies. Otherwise they would just be sucking up a whole bunch of Bitcoin themselves and they'd be fine. That was the last that type of article. Before we wrap it up, the very last thing I want to share with you guys was I found this little list of rumored airdrops, and so I'm going to share this one with you guys on screen. So rumored airdrops. That means
before you do that, for anybody who may be lurking or hanging out, that's something that we want to do right at the end of each show. Is like, we've done some research on some airdrops. And then we'll start just dropping some links in the chat or whatever at the end of the show.
Yep.
Can I interrupt you before we do that and just briefly talk about one rare?
Yeah.
Was it you that brought it up last week?
Yep.
As soon as you started talking about it, I was curious. I'm gonna try to share my screen and see how this goes.
Okay.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Probably is disabled. To be honest,
centralization at its finest.
Yep, that's what that is. Here, let me get you a screen though.
I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I just figure I'll give it a shot, right?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me set you up with the ability to do that.
Sweet. So while you're doing that, you brought up one rare last week, which was some sort of food NFT gaming whatever, right? And it
Mhm.
was instantly pretty. I was pretty curious about it, so I checked into it. Currently, the one rare token is trading at four. When you brought it up a
A
week ago,
food
it was at four
metaverse
and a half.
game?
It was at one rare.io. Is that what you asked?
Yeah. The
Yeah, yeah.
food metaverse game?
Yeah. So they actually like they're starting to work with partnerships with like Fate and Arena. They're trying to do stuff with Decentraland. They're basically
What?
trying to get their hands out on everything they can metaverse speaking. So kudos to them for that.
Mhm.
Um, so a week ago when you mentioned it, the one rare token was trading at 4.5 cents per token.
It's
It's
got an
at
all-time high of $1.
yeah. And it's at like 4.8 cents right now. So it went up a little bit since you mentioned it. Um and I let's see here. So um once you mentioned it, I looked into it. I had 100 Polygon Matic tokens. So I actually traded like $15 worth, like nothing, like enough that if it turned to zero, I would not cry about it.
Yeah.
$15, whatever, right? So how this works, man, is it has a pretty cool little opening. Can you all see that?
Yep.
So, you go in, it's got a nice little video, welcome to the gaming zone, the farm, farmers market, kitchen, playground. This is how you get started. Look at, I like this. Look at 1, 2, 3. Look at that. That's cool, right?
Mhm.
You connect your MetaMask, you buy some Matic, and then you buy some rare. Okay. So once you buy the rare, dude, listen, as it is right now, it's not a playable game. 100% it's not a playable game. But what you do is you buy your old rare tokens, and then it's basically you farm them. Okay. You have to go to the farm with your old rare tokens. So you got the meat and fish company, or the fish and meat, the spice, the Sunshine Dairy, the supermarket, the Good Grain. All of these are different farms. So you take your old rare token and you farm them. And it depends on how many tokens are staked. So we'll go to Farm Fresh here. There's, almost 1 million tokens staked. There's 61 different ingredients you can get from the farm fresh, and the emission is 25 per hour. So you get 25 per hour total, and then you do the math based on how many total tokens are staked. Every hour you get a fraction of that. So say like, yo, I'm putting all my money into farm fresh, bro. I'm farming farm fresh.
Whoa,
So you
swap NFTs for real meals?
So you took you take your O rare token. See, I have a little bit of every one. I have 15 every single one except the last one, and then I just threw everything that I had the rest in the last one. But so just to quickly show you, so I got 50 tokens staked in here, and it's been a week, and my current crop is 20% ready. If you take it out, you lose everything.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna I put a little bit into each different farm. And like I said, it's been a week with $15 total. So just roughly under $5 per farm I put in. So this one's 20%. The meat is 36%. The spice is 38%. The dairy is 66. Supermart is 23. The Good Grain is 75. So in a couple days, the grain is going to be ready to harvest. I'll claim ingredients right here. And then what I'll probably do is remove the money from, I'll grab my ingredient. I'll remove what I have in this farm, and then add it to another farm, of something that I have a lower percentage at. So, and then you get the ingredients, and like every week or every portion of time, they release new recipes. And like during the Ukraine Russian crisis, they released a couple Ukrainian dishes. For this week, they're celebrating this, so they release like a couple of dishes from this one, but you need
Whoa.
multiple ingredients
So I
for it.
can connect my wallet to this place? I'm not gonna get rugged.
I can't guarantee you won't get rubbed. But how they have it set up right now is you buy the rare tokens, you put it in the farm, and then once you hit 100%, you can harvest an ingredient, and then if you get the right ingredients, you can mint a recipe. Okay, so you harvest stuff from your farm, you go to the farmer's market, and you can sell stuff on the farmer's market. Okay, anchovies, allspice powder, blah 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 blah, and then you can mint recipes with your ingredients. And the very first one, you require like one ingredient per thing for a recipe. But as soon as you mint it, the next minting costs like 5 ingredients or something like that per recipe. So the value of the things that you have minted in
basically
supposedly goes up. So it's a deflationary thing. So if you're the first one to mint a recipe, you have that recipe, you have the thing created. It's going to be harder for anyone else to create that. It's going to be like roughly, from what I've seen, 5 times harder for them to create the next one. But if you have any recipes, it looks like you're going to be able to enter some sort of mini game where you're a food truck. And when you're a food truck and people go to the area with food trucks, they say, okay, well, you have the recipe for this product. Okay, you have the recipe for these 2 products. Okay, you have the recipe for these 3 products. Out of all of those products, which one do I want to choose? I choose that one. Okay, boom. And then over a time period, that's how you like, oh, you played this game and more people chose your recipes than the other recipes. So the advantage you have is minting more recipes for your food truck. That's honestly like,
wow, that's fucking crazy.
That's all I know about it. Okay, that's basically the depth of what I know of this process. So what I did is, since Smurf mentioned it last week, I traded $15 worth of Matic for the old rare tokens, and I equally distributed that $15 in each of the 6 farms. And what you see with the results is what I have from that. So what they do is, based on the return, based on the emission rate, you can see that there for the different ingredients, the emission rates are going to be different. So based on the number of tokens staked and the emission rate, they tell you the best yield for everything. A week ago, the best yield was for the good grain. And that's where you can see I put 50 in everything, and then I had like 74 left, so I just put everything in the good grain. So I'm almost harvested an ingredient in the good grain, and then as soon as I harvest that, I think the move is to remove all the money in the farm, and then maybe like put it towards the best yielder. And then as soon as the best yielder harvests, I'll take all the money out of that and I'll put it to the best yielder at that point, and then just keep doing that. So I have $15 in there. I was considering putting more in there, but for the time being, I figured it's $15. Whatever, I'll just throw it in there. I think it's kind of cool. It's something I support. So if it turns into something cool, if it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
But I figured that was a good opportunity to show you guys what I did.
Yeah, I like that. And I feel like it's a responsible amount to put in to a game like this. I kind of follow that type of I don't know if we'll call it like a greed or something. Whenever I'm getting it into a game, a blockchain game, that might have an option to spend some money. And if it's something that I'm actually interested in, I'll consider what I would spend on an actual video game. And so if it was more of an indie game, $15, $30. And if it's like this like high end game or some game that's supposed to earn me more money or something like that, then maybe I do this what is now like $75 after tax or something for the actual game. And I'm like, that's reasonable. And this thing's gonna actually make me money or something too. So yeah, I'll like what you did there. I like what you did there.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty cool.
You guys brought up something that interested me, so I put it up to the side, and as soon as the show was done, I dug into it. Yeah, so eventually, like, we'll get to the point where maybe I have like a 5-minute video on that, and that's like it's one take. You know what I mean? It's like, boom, here you go, and I'll play that, and then you guys can watch my explanation of it that I figured out through the week. But I figured that was a good opportunity to kind of just follow up on some information that we had last week. Like I said, $15. Honestly, I might throw another $15 into it. I have like another 100 Matic. I can trade and dick around with.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Since you mentioned it, it went up a couple percentages. Who knows? Who knows what can happen to that? I think it's a cool concept, and that's the kind of cool thing that I don't mind throwing a couple bucks at and just supporting. It's like, hey, I support your idea. Run with it. Here's a couple bucks. Run with it. See what you can do with it. If you keep running with it, I'm gonna throw you a couple more bucks.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens. I'm down.
Well, with that said, I gotta take off to work. I'm gonna have to head out here in a quick minute.
Yeah. I'm trying to close it right on this actually.
Cool.
So this is the last thing that we're gonna share, and this is not much of a topic. This is just kind of sharing an airdrop for people to wrap up today's stream. So this is a rumored airdrop via some private Telegram groups and whatnot. This is for Marinade Finance. So Marinade Finance is a decentralized exchange on Solana. And so interacting with the Marinade Finance ecosystem could potentially get you some fresh tokens. And so I wanted to start including little things like this, whether it's an NFT airdrop or a token airdrop at the end of the stream.
Just something for people to follow up on. I think that's kind of like a carrot in front of them. Like, yo, we've done a lot of research. Here's some airdrops for you. You can just listen to the whole stream, and we're gonna drop you a couple bucks at the end. You know, you can just like sell it right now and make a couple bucks, whatever. Thanks for coming by.
Yep. Yep.
Can you drop that in the Discord chat, and I'll drop it in the chats?
Yeah, I'll drop it in there. But yeah, that's it from us today, guys. Thank you for joining us for Trustless Degens. Sorry, I feel like we ran over a little bit. We had some technical difficulties in the middle, and there was conversation was kind of just flowing, so I didn't want to interrupt anybody. But yeah, thank you to the hosts for coming out tonight, Eric and Bitfiend. Retsutoshi who left us already, and again, thank you everybody who's tuning in later. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Take care. See you later.